season.
You're listening to Arkansas Preps Weekly on Natural State Sports, your top source for the biggest news in high school sports across Arkansas.
And here we go.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into episode 24 of Arkansas Preps Weekly here on the Natural State Sports Network. My name is Kyle Sutherland, here with you as always, and we continue our summer series, the second edition of the football portion of it. So we're going to have Little Rock Christian alumnus and current UNLV linebacker Jackson Woodard. Jackson, of course, started his college career at Arkansas right around the time that Sam Pittman got there and played under Barry Odom, then followed Barry Odom to the desert in Las Vegas there at UNLV. So Jackson had a great first year there in Vegas, was one of the Mountain West top tacklers, and actually has been selected as the Mountain West preseason defensive player of the year. So has gone from a walk-on linebacker with the Razorbacks that got some time. I believe it was 28 games, and we'll get into that some, of course, too. But was a great contributor for the Razorbacks as a walk-on, and then ended up earning a scholarship, and then, of course, went to UNLV and has just done a great job there. So looking forward to this one as we start our second edition, but without further ado, second edition of the football part of it, of course, and without further ado, we will go ahead and get right into that with Little Rock Christian alumnus and current UNLV linebacker Jackson Woodard.
We're now joined by former Little Rock Christian linebacker and current UNLV linebacker, former Razorback linebacker as well. Linebackers in a lot of different places. Jackson Woodard. Jackson, really appreciate you joining, man. Always loved watching you when you were at Little Rock Christian. Enjoyed watching you as a Razorback, and now enjoyed watching you dominate as a Rebel. So it's great to have you join us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, let's just kind of talk about the past year. You went with Coach Odom. I think there was 3 or 4 of you guys that followed him to Las Vegas and did a great job. As I just talked about, you had an individually great year, but went from 5-7 to somewhere 9 wins, I believe it was last season. So a big-time turnaround. You have very high expectations for, I know, yourself and your team this year. But just talk about what this past season, or really this past year, has been like being away from Arkansas.
Yeah, it's been great. You know, I never really pictured myself, obviously, being in Las Vegas, but having Coach Odom as a head coach, and obviously I was with him at Arkansas, so I trusted him and knew that he was going to win wherever he went. And so it's been, you know, everything that I've wanted. I've been really blessed. This coaching staff is incredible. And, you know, we went out and won a lot of games. Obviously, we didn't finish the way we wanted. But it's been nothing but blessings.
And you played for Coach Eric Cohue. And now, Coach Cohue's first year at Little Rock Christian, was that your sophomore year?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, okay, so you played with him all the way through, and also played under Dustin Grimmett, who is now the head coach, going into his first season at Little Rock Christian. So you guys had obviously it's a great program over there, and you guys had some great teams. And man, that 2018 championship, we still talk about that during War Memorial, talking about just some of the great games. And that was one that got moved to Sunday, actually, due to some bad weather that was over the weekend. So, you know, I know that PA Little Rock Christian rivalry, Little Rock Christian got them for the first time in a while last year. You guys got them in the final where I think it was PA went to 10 finals or something like that. They won 9 of them. And you guys got that one over 52-33. So just kind of talk about that, winning a state title, but also doing it over your arch rival.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, it's one of my core memories in football. Just playing them anytime. You know, the rivalry games are obviously, you know, the stakes are higher. And then to have it in the state championship is huge. That's the ultimate goal in football, especially in high school, is a state championship. So to be able to do that was awesome. I had so many good teammates that are still playing now and I'm best friends with to this day. You know, that Little Rock Christian was huge, and the coaches there helped me so much and are a big part of the reason I'm here today. They just helped me in so many ways in football, off the field. And yeah, I was just really blessed to be a part of that team. That was an incredible game that I'll remember forever.
And going into your recruiting, you ended up earning a scholarship with the Razorbacks, but you walked on and had a great career at Little Rock Christian. So talk a little bit about your recruiting, about how you turned down some scholarship offers to end up walking on at Arkansas.
Yeah. I was kind of recruiting. I a little bit thought I was going to play baseball in college, just whenever real early. And then I just knew that I really loved football more, and that was my true passion. And so going into junior year, didn't really have any offers. And then senior year, I had the year that I wanted to. Picked up a few just smaller offers, but ultimately I got a walk-on offer from Arkansas. And I had obviously wanted to play at Arkansas growing up. So I took that. But recruiting was not too big for me. I'm 0 stars. Didn't really have a recruiting process throughout high school. But I knew, what I was capable of. And if I went to work, everything else would fall in line. And so I ended up picking Arkansas.
And you came to Arkansas at a really tough time. That was right coming off of the Chad Morris years when Coach Pittman came in. Not only was it a new coaching staff taking over a team that had struggled badly, but it was also COVID. Of course, I know being the class of 2020 was definitely different in that regard. Not being able to graduate and just so many not being able to go through the regular graduating process and just so many other things. So what was it that really sold you about that program? Of course, Coach Odom, that was his first year. So what was it, Coach Odom, Coach Pittman, that really sold you about what they were trying to do at Arkansas?
Yeah, obviously I'm from Arkansas, so that was a draw there, just right off the bat. But Coach Odom, when you meet him, you would understand he's a winner, and winning follows him. And so I wanted to be a part of that. And he was a big reason of why I came to Arkansas, and I trusted him, and I knew under him I would become a great linebacker, and then obviously off the field a great man. So that was really attractive to me. And once I got that offer, there's really no turning back.
And when you first got to Arkansas, I know that especially anybody that's coming in as a true freshman, you're going to have that chip on your shoulder because you want to prove yourself, but you've especially got to have a chip on your shoulder when you're a walk-on. And that was one thing, I mentioned this to you when we had talked on the phone, is throughout your Razorback career, you were never like a superstar or anything, but you look at just what you did on the field and what you did in practice, it was your name always seemed to come up, whether that was scout team, whether it was you getting on the field during a game. So is that kind of just how you've always approached it? Even when you were a star at Little Rock Christian, and then you come in to Arkansas, has it always just kind of been the same approach? I'm just going to take it one game, one rep at a time, one practice at a time, one day at a time, and then it just all really kind of fell into place?
Yeah, 100%. I had a chip on my shoulder then, and I still have a chip on my shoulder. Winning's the ultimate goal. Winning to me is everything. So every day, every second of my life, I'm trying to figure out how I can be better, how I can be the best, how I can win. And that's how I approached it when I went to Arkansas. I took it, like you were saying, one rep at a time, one day at a time, and just really went to work. Just growing up, my dad used to tell me hard work pays off, and I think it's one of the most truest statements there is. If you go put your head down and go to work and outwork everybody else, good things are going to happen. And so I knew that going in, and I just put my head down and went to work, and things worked out well.
You did. You put your head down, you went to work, and then that 2020 season, that's probably the best 3-7 season of any team that you could think of, just because of the close games. And, of course, it was an all-SEC schedule. But then that 2021 season, you guys had a great year, won 9 games, won the Outback Bowl, beat Penn State. And then the next year prior to that season, I know Coach Pittman there's a lot of coaches that, they like to make a big deal. And it is a big deal, so that's perfectly fine if they do it. But when you get a scholarship as a walk-on player, they make the things on social media or you see it on TV, whatever. Coach Pittman isn't so much like that. So unless you read the headlines, you might not have seen it until the season. But you got that walk-on, or you got that scholarship. So just like you were talking about, the one rep at a time, one day at a time, to come off of that non-win season and then get a scholarship going into that year, or just kind of put that into words.
Yeah, that was huge. As a walk-on, the scholarship's always there, but I wanted to play on the field. I wanted to do whatever it took to win. I wanted to be a key contributor, and that's why I worked so hard. I didn't work so hard for the scholarship. I worked so hard to play. And it was really a blessing to be able to get that scholarship. More than anything, it was just kind of it allowed me to kind of look back and, realize that my work did pay off in that regards. So that was huge. Obviously, it wasn't the main thing that I was wanting to do, but it obviously was a part of that, getting that scholarship. So I was super thankful to get that.
And like you said, the ultimate goal is to get on the field, and you were playing, but you knew that going to UNLV, following Coach Odom out there, that would give you a better opportunity, and you did. I mean, you had, like I said, a breakout season, first team All Mountain West, and just when you first had that conversation when Coach Odom had mentioned that he was taking the job, was it something that you pretty quickly were like, yeah, I think this is probably going to be the best option, or did you have to really think about it for a little while, especially since you were going to leave home?
Yeah, I mean, not really. I knew exactly what I was going to do. Like I said, Coach Odom's meant a lot to me, and I knew what he was going to do here, and I trusted him. So there wasn't too much thinking in that. The biggest thing was just, getting my mom to allow me to leave and getting her on board. But she's so supportive, and so is my dad, and really my whole family is really supportive, and they understand that I wanted it really badly. And football was really my life, and so they were super supportive. But yeah, I knew, once he left, that was probably my plan.
Now, forgive my ignorance, but I know obviously, like in Colorado, those areas, it's tougher to breathe just because of the elevation. Now, and I've never been west of Texas, so again, forgive me. Is it kind of like that out? And I know it's obviously different than where you grew up, but is it kind of like that out there, the air and everything?
Yeah, in a way. I mean, it's so dry.
Okay.
When you first get out here, you just feel like you're sucking in air, just trying to get it, just because your throat gets so dry and your lungs feel dried up. But I've gotten used to it, and so it's been good.
Well, was it kind of tough to get you? Like when you first got there, obviously your body had to adjust. Did your body have to adjust more once you put the pads on and you go out there and start practicing, or did you kind of just get used to it as you first got there?
Really, just when I first got there, the conditioning, because once you put those pads on, football's football, and you're locked in, adrenaline's pumping, and you're ready to go, knock some heads. But no, once the pads got on, everything settled in for me.
Yeah, you certainly knocked some heads. In the first game against Bryant, you had 12 tackles. You guys got a chance right after that. This is another thing you and I had talked about on the phone, talking a little more in detail about the Michigan game. And so you have that big game against Bryant, again, 12 tackles in your season opener, your first game as a Rebel. And then to play at a place, I know the game, didn't turn out in y'all's favor, but just to be able to play in a place like the Big House, talk about that.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, it was a great experience for the team. It was a big test right off the bat. And obviously we didn't win the game, which is what we were wanting to do, but it allowed us to, as a team, understand how to take a loss and then how to build on that. I think it helped us in many ways. And then, like you're saying, what a great experience to be able to play in an atmosphere like that. It was awesome.
And that was the only game that you guys had lost up until, the end of the season there. And you had talked about at the opening how that didn't end the way that you wanted on the 3-game losing streak. So coming in this year, and, I know that preseason projections are preseason projections, but you guys are picked, I believe it's behind Boise State to finish second in the Mountain West. So, again, very high expectations. I know you don't pay any attention to those, but just kind of a measurement. But as far as all that goes, what are within what you can tell me, what are kind of some things that you guys have taken from the end of last year? And again, I know that's, this is a new year, but some just lessons that you took from the ending of last year that you want to put into practice for this season.
Yeah, I mean, we took so many lessons, and it was big for me personally too, because I was able to learn a lot about myself and what I need to do as a leader, and not finishing the way we wanted is. It's in that sentence, we didn't finish. And so that was a big emphasis this offseason is truly learning how to finish. As leaders, we got to understand that we got to attack every day, every practice, no matter how late in the season it is. We got to, come in and attack every week the same. I think we might have lost that a little bit going into the end of the season. So we put an emphasis on that, attacking one rep at a time, keeping that, chip on our shoulder. So we're going to be ready going into this season. It was great to learn from, and it's going to help us a lot at the end of the season this year.
And I wanted to talk a little bit about just go back to you starting your college career as a walk-on because there's a lot of kids that are in your position that are exceptional players, but they might not get quite that whether it be that Razorback offer or another P5 offer that they may have been wanting for so long. So they just decide to walk on and earn their way like you did. So what were maybe some early lessons? I know you went up there knowing that you had a bigger hill to climb than maybe some of the scholarship players that were coming in the 2020 class. But what were some maybe immediate lessons that you learned, maybe like your first or second season there?
Yeah, well, like I said, hard work pays off. So I knew that going in, I was going to have to bust my tail regardless. And that's what I did. And the biggest thing as a young guy coming in is learn from those that are in front of you. I had the opportunity to learn from a lot of really good linebackers. And so watching them, learning from their mistakes and then learning from what they did good helped me a lot. Just being in the film room and watching exactly how they play, listening to the coaches on how they're correcting them and then getting that corrected, by myself. But, there's a lot of lessons. But I stick to it, hard work. Just go to work. Nothing that's undefeated. And that's really what I would tell anybody. Just outwork everyone around you, whether it's midnight and you're watching film, late, or you're going up to the facility to work on something that you think you need to work on. Just go to work, put your head down, don't say too much, learn from those around you, and you'll be well off.
And so 2023, I mentioned you were first team all Mountain West. You had 117 total tackles, 55 solo, 9 for loss, and 2.5 sacks. Like I said, Razorback fans, for the most part, now maybe not so much as compared to what you did at UNLV as a every game starter, but we kind of knew the abilities that you had. Of course, those that had watched you in high school as well. But did the game slow down a little bit more for you once you got to UNLV just from playing in the – and not to say that the Mountain West is weak by any means. I'm just saying, did the SEC prepare you for what you are now playing in the Mountain West and with that team?
Yeah, I don't know how much it is that, playing at the SEC was what prepared me. More just my preparation each week, having a coach that truly trusts in me and wants me out there, and then just being week to week in the film room with my teammates, understanding what the game plan is. We have Mike Shear, who's our defensive coordinator, puts such a good plan together. So it's easy for me. I really just got to follow that plan. So obviously playing in the SEC helped out, but it was more just that playing. It wasn't as much the conference. I wouldn't say that did it. It was more just the preparation each and every day. And then, like I said, having a coach that really trusts in me and believes in me helped me out a lot.
And I know you are 100% focused on this season. You're definitely going to look at going to the NFL, once your college career is over. But I got to ask you, do you plan on coaching at some point in your life?
Yeah, I think so. So I went pre-dental is what I'm doing school-wise, pre-dental track. But more and more I'm into it. I'm pretty much 100% gonna end up trying to coach and being a coach in college football. That'd be a big dream of mine after football's done for me.
Yeah, I hope you do, because you just talking to you, man. You've got that like future coach. I think that of course, like you said, when you played for Barry Odom, you played for some good ones. It definitely it rubs up on you. So, well, as we finish off here, I want to just kind of talk about. I mentioned a second ago some of the lessons that you learned as a walk-on, maybe your first, second year. But man, Jackson, you have, as you have said a few times during this interview, hard work and putting your head down every single day. You've earned every bit that you've gotten. So what is some advice? Again, as I said a second ago, there's so many kids, whether it be in Arkansas or just across the country, that are in your position that they feel like that they want to get that they deserve that bigger offer, so they go out and they prove it, or sometimes they just take the smaller options. There's nothing wrong with that. But regardless of what they're going through, what are maybe one or two things that you would tell the crowd that is going through recruiting right now and on their way to play college football?
Yeah, as a young kid, what I would say is find a purpose, and in that purpose, make a goal, and that goal needs to seem unordinary to those around you, but very ordinary to you. And that's kind of what my goal is. my goal, obviously, this year is to win a championship, and I bet a lot of people outside of UNLV are going to look and say, that's not attainable. But I know it's attainable. It's an ordinary goal to me, and I'm going to go do everything I can to achieve that goal. So I think that's big for me is setting a goal. And with that goal, then you have a purpose, and you're able to every single day be hyper-focused on that goal. And whether it's, like I said, film study, whether it's how you attack school, whether it's how you attack practice every day, one rep at a time, be hyper-focused on that goal. And you'll achieve that goal. I think, a lot of us, we get caught up in everything around us and we aren't able to focus on that goal. But when you're hyper-focused on a goal, hyper-obsessed with a goal, man, anything's achievable. And so what I would say to a young guy, if they walk on, if they're at a smaller school or whatever it is, have a goal and go achieve that goal. Don't let anything get in the way. And that's a big thing that's helped me. And then obviously I've been blessed, super blessed. You were talking about coaches that I've had in my life, when it's Coach Koyu, Coach Stone in high school, obviously Coach Odom, Coach Shear, and then I think I got the best teammates in the world, truly, on this UNLV team. We're a super tight brotherhood. I rely on them. They rely on me. We have each other's backs, and that's been huge for me.
We've been talking with former Little Rock Christian star and current UNLV linebacker, Mr. Jackson Woodard. Jackson, it was an honor talking with you, man. Always admired what you've done, a lot of great things, that you gave. I know that many kids can take a lot out there, and even adults too, man. I mean, it doesn't matter really what age you are. Hard work, as you continue to say, pays off. So I really appreciate your time.
100%. Thank you for having me.